Here are 50 random and, not gonna lie, mostly useless facts about Clash of Clans. The Wild West skins are the only ones to have background effects. If you look closely, every anniversary cake has the number of the anniversary hidden within the design. Sometimes it's very obvious, like a number or X for example, but other times it may be hard to spot. In the earlier ones, it's simply the number of fruits. The 12th anniversary is literally 1 and 2, 12. The 11th is the 2 swords, making the number 11, and the 9th, which is probably the hardest one, some speculate it's the number of icing spots, which add up to 9. According to the now killed Clash Quest game, the Goblin King, which is most famous for his appearance in the tutorial, has a brother. According to the official lore, the Goblin King banished him from the continent, where he then ended up in Clash Quest. Interestingly, in Clash Quest, his brother claims that he is the true Goblin King. But speaking of the Goblin King, did you know that he is the last remaining character in Clash of Clans to have 4 fingers? The Goblin King has simply never been updated since 2012. Some older Barbarian King skins still have 4 fingers, however this is a result of outdated skins, as for many years the King has been depicted with 5 fingers. Because of strength, the Battle Drill is the first and only siege machine that is locked to higher town halls when donating, requiring a level 9 clan castle, which is at town hall 13. For years, Christmas trees were spelled out as Xmas trees in the game. It's just a common way of abbreviating it. However, you may or may not have noticed that all of them were renamed to Clashmas trees in 2022, or may not have even known that they were at one point called Xmas trees. The bowler's death sound is the same as the wizard, or is it the other way around? Even when you're at max capacity for your elixir storage, the elixir bar doesn't fill up all the way. It's ever so slightly pushed back, just enough to see what's behind it. Literally unplayable. The tactical view was recently enabled in the village edit mode, which is pretty dang cool. However, it also added an interesting hidden feature. By tapping on storages and collectors, it shows you how much loot will be available from that building to attackers. For WoW players, this next one may be obvious, but the Barbarian or King skin was inspired by a character named Garrosh Hellscream from World of Warcraft. He may also look slightly familiar from Hearthstone, which takes place in the same universe. There is a mysterious artifact in the Clash of Dragons scenery sitting in the middle of nowhere. At first, it looks like it could be part of a crusher, but turns out it actually belongs to the Dark Dominion Warden. This wouldn't be the first time a scenery has foreshadowed a future theme. In the future scenery, there were multiple references to chess. 1 month later, the chess season was kicked off. Several years ago, some obstacles, notably these 4, lost their animation. However, there does seem to be a temporary way to re-enable them by going into village edit mode, stashing them, and putting them right back. Now they're animated. Unfortunately, the process needs to be done again every time you reload the game. Rolling a 20 in the decision dice plays a special sound and animation. This is referencing what is called a natural 20 in the board game Dungeons & Dragons, which basically grants that player some special effects depending on the rules. I don't know much about D&D, but I'm gonna say it's like the equivalent of rolling a double 6 in Monopoly. The mysterious object is the first obstacle in Clash history to give you gems when removed. It's also the second special obstacle to not be associated with a holiday. The first one was the spiky cactus from 2018. The Goblin Builder was most likely inspired by Tom, an NPC in Heyday that goes and gets items for you for a little extra gems. Having 2 hammers is normally impossible as you cannot purchase them with real money, so it never exceeds the limit, but it can happen in some rare instances. For example, if you buy one with medals and then receive one from a reward, like the daily reward for returning to Clash of Clans, you'll end up with 2. The clan borders, which there are 8 of, are themed after the 8 leagues in the game. For some odd reason, footballs in the Clash universe have a pretty weird pattern. On at least one of the sides of the ball, it always has one of the darkened hexagons shifted over. This is true for the ball in the King Holland skin, the mysterious object decoration, the spiky ball equipment, and even the balls the Giants are playing with in the football scenery. At the max Town Hall level, the very most common reward you can get from a chest is Dark Elixir at 19% from a common chest. On the flip side, the most rare item is a Hammer of Spells at a 2.11% chance from a legendary chest, which is already rare to begin with. Basically, the chances of getting a Hammer of Spells is only a fraction of a single percent. As you may know, Bob is controlled from the builder base, but a cool little detail you may have missed is that over on that side, the Bob control hut is sending its signal up, and in the home village, it's receiving that signal. You can see the bolts going down. You can only see this when Bob isn't busy. For those of you who are wondering but are too scared to try, the maximum number of times you can tag your clan is 10 times per hour. When you purchase a new builder hut, right before you place it, the builder hut has a sign with a exclamation point. This is not there when you place it, so what's the deal with that? Well, this is a reused asset from 2017 when the builder left the village, and out front of the hut was this sign. Prior to this event, this did not happen. Now, there are two theories why this is still there. Either it's a Easter egg referencing the event, or they simply forgot to remove it and just kept it. You may have noticed that several parts of the Eagle Artillery move into position once it's activated. But something interesting happens at level 7. It gains a tail that also lowers during this sequence. This makes sense as it is an eagle after all, but it really makes you wonder why it never had a tail in the first place. The glowy lantern will fly up into the air when you remove it. If you happen to get a Mighty Hero statue from a chest, you may notice that it looks very different when you place it. Well, this is because it's using the completely wrong asset. This is the Mighty statue from the 2016 Red Hero pack. After the event, the statues lost a badge and Roman numerals, which makes its appearance in a chest rather odd. But speaking of this, a fun fact, this was the first purchasable decoration in the game that cost real money. And that Roman numeral, it was the number of years you had participated in the charity event. It could go up to 4. It would have been the first exclusive statue, but because Android players could not participate in the event, Supercell ended up putting it in the shop for 500 gems after it was over. And that's the story of the Mighty Hero statue that you didn't need to know, but now you know. The common and rare chests were inspired by the wooden and silver chests in Clash Royale. In some accounts, mostly lower town halls and rush bases it seems, there is an extra tab in the trader called Specials. It does come and go and not everyone sees it, but when it's there, you can expect discounts for several magic items at varying prices. I think everyone knows that level 10 walls and onward glow from top to bottom. Each level has their own little animation. But what's interesting is that starting at level 15, they all sparkle the same tiny stars in the interconnecting pieces. For a very brief period in November 2023, the home village music was changed to tease the theme of the next town hall. The Clash of Dragons legendary scenery is so big that it's the first scenery where you can see the Eagle Artillery shots hit their height limit during a replay without the Eagle Artillery needing to be at the very bottom of the base. You may not know this since I'm not sure why you'd want to sell a hammer in the first place, but just in case you are curious, it has the highest resale value out of any magic item at 100 gems. It's possible to be in 3 wars at the same time, a clan war league, a regular one, and a friendly war. All you have to do is make sure you're in a clan war league first, then join a clan to start a war, then join another one to start a friendly war. You may have noticed in the Queen's upgrade screen, 2 wizards appear at the very end and just stand there. Well, believe it or not, these are there for cleanup, but only at lower levels is where it actually makes sense, because the queen takes too long to take everything out, so at some levels you actually see the wizards help with 2 buildings. As you know, the 10th anniversary scenery is loaded with Easter eggs referencing old Clash events. Well, a cool one that I noticed recently in the 2013 section of the scenery under Town Hall 12 is a rock with arrows, which is referencing the addition of Village Edit mode. The 3rd star in regular Clan Wars has a bigger drop shadow. Despite the Tesla having a 7-tile radius, its activation radius is slightly smaller at 6 tiles. The Mighty Morsel, I think that's how you say it, and Power Pancakes seem to have unlimited uses in single-player maps. At least as of when this video is going up. The location where you are opening the chest is inside the Town Hall. Despite the builder elixir being purple rather than the pink in the home village, the elixir it produces still appears as pink. The witch's description is outdated, stating that upgrading it will allow her to spawn more skeletons at a time, but this hasn't been the case since 2018 when they changed the skeleton spawned at once to be 4. Nowadays, upgrading her only increases the total limit. When the anime Archer was released, her event description stated that she had watched over 500 different animes, except for the one with the rubber pirate. This is a reference to an anime called One Piece, where the main character, Monkey D. Luffy, has an ability that makes his limbs like rubber. He also happens to be a pirate. The Chinese version of Clash of Clans has pet skins. What'd they do to my boy Diggy? A while ago in the Clan Capital update, there was a loading screen with some troops aboard the ship heading for the Clan Capital. The goblin's pose is referencing the 1997 movie Titanic. If you haven't played in any lower level accounts for a while, it may come as a surprise to you that during the Builder Hall 2.0 update, several of the lower level cannons in the home village were updated to have the same model as the cannons in the builder base. You may have noticed that emojis cannot be used in names or clan names, but they can contain several Unicode symbols, mostly ASCII and extended characters. Some of these symbols may even appear with color depending on what platform you're playing in. So if you ever see a name like this, it's not an emoji. According to Supercell, there is a team within the company who is specifically there to focus on lore within the Clash world, so they are responsible for those small bits of lore between the game and videos. This is the same team that bought us the Lost and Crown film. There are 3 different loot card variations, with Tombstone, without Tombstone, and overloaded. The bolt on the level 10 laboratory screws in counterclockwise and unscrews clockwise. Now this may sound like a design mistake, but is actually pretty accurate as reverse threads are commonly found on anything that contains gas, toxins, or anything high pressure. The direction it goes in and out of the laboratory makes perfect sense in this case. So guys, those are 50 random facts, and as you can see, random they were. I hope it didn't put you to sleep. That's pretty much all I have for you today though, but hey, YouTube thinks you'll like this next video on the screen, so why don't you check it out? As always, Havoc Gaming outs. Peace!